is it so important to work across differences?
Well, first, I'm not sure that there are differences between the communities. To build a coalition, you got to find the commonalities, and a lot of times, the commonalities is people don't consider our population because demographically, it's not significant, or we don't rise to a certain percentage. But if you collectively put it all together, you can have influence. With the Asian American community, when Warner was running for governor back in 2002, I told the community that, it's just, how large are you? They said, we're 2%, and, we're trying to organize our community, Vietnamese, Indo-Americans, Koreans, and stuff like that. And so you already have a Korean person, Mark Kim, learn from him. But the whole idea was nobody paid attention to the community because they were 2% of the voting population. I said, why don't you ask the question, wouldn't you like to win by 1%? Let alone 2%. I mean, what's the critical number of 1%, 2%? It's in the thousands, right? And so I just told him that, you could turn a marginalized community into the margin of victory. And Judy Chu takes that phrase, and uses it all the time. But it's true. If you really think about it, a marginalized community, if it's organized and create coalitions, you can beat the margin of victory. And then people will look for the organizers to have them help the candidates. But it has to be deliberate. And I learned that when I ran for assembly because I told staff, look at all the precincts and look at the precincts that have not been active, we have registered voters or eligible to register, and let's find out what those numbers are, and let's go talk to them. So we did that, and this one lady on the east side was asked, "How come you're going to support Honda?" And she said, "Because he asked." So organizing and then finding out what is it that they need to become invested in your campaign. And the idea is if they give you $1, they've already invested in you, so they're going to make that dollar work. And so looking at the marginal areas and playing that hand, it's like bridge. Do you remember 007 where he had a hand that had no picture cards, no tens, all low, and did a grand slam because he was able to maximize, and he knew the hands of everybody else, so he knew how to finesse each card in order to get things going. And I read that. I thought that is such a good strategy because you got to know what other people have. So you have to know what other campaigns are going to do, who they zero in on, and then who's left out. And, sort of go after them and figure out that if you can get these folks, will it make a difference? And usually it can make a difference. We won the assembly race, and the Latino caucus from Sacramento came in to help one of the ladies who said, Honda's using the theme, Si se puede, but he's not even Mexican, But in my schools, we had the program called Si se puede, right? So it wasn't, we weren't plagiarizing anybody because, we had a history of using that. And the Latinos here in this valley told the caucus, stay out. We have our candidate, you know. And it was this Asian guy that spoke Mexican. But who paid attention to the issues, you know. And I was part of the LULAC, you know, League of United Latin American Citizens. And I sat on a lot of the boards and commissions in their community. So it was, but it wasn't planned. It was just using my language to be helpful in different arenas. But they had the best Mexican music, though. You know, they partied the best. That's off the record. I don't know if that answers your question.
Yeah.
Coalition.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, especially as you were talking about earlier that, you know, just different communities were coming out in support of you, right? Just that this is, I think, such a unique thing that a lot of people don't know in today's kind of context of, because we hear a lot about anti-Asian violence and that everyone is the races are so siloed and all of that, but it hasn't always been that way. But that's the narrative that is getting reproduced, especially in media.
Yeah. And a lot of Asian American politicians will look at the community and say, I can run. Oh, that's not the reason you run. It could be a factor in your strategies, but you don't run because you're Asian. You can run the fact that you're Asian and you could do certain, you have insights. And what do those insights give you? So I always ask, why are you running? And every time I hear the phrase, to give back to my community, it's such a boring answer, you know. Give back to my community. You know, it's just, why are you running? Like it was a trick question. But all I want to know is, what's the fire you get that makes you get up in the morning and want to be there, you know?